London, a city known for its vibrant culture and bustling streets where history meets modernity at every corner. But behind the facade of normalcy, a nightmare unfolded for one Air India crew member, shattering the illusion of safety. She had just arrived at the Radisson Red Hotel near Heathrow Airport, exhausted from a long flight, looking forward to a night of rest. Little did she know terror awaited her in the shadows of the seemingly secure hotel. Inside her hotel room she should have found respite, a sanctuary from the chaos of travel. Instead, she found herself facing a horrific ordeal that would haunt her for years to come. An unknown assailant, armed with nothing more than a clothes hanger, launched a brutal attack, catching her completely off guard. The attack was sudden, violent, and utterly unexpected, leaving her in a state of shock and disbelief. This was not a random robbery. It felt personal, fueled by an inexplicable rage that seemed to target her specifically. The victim, caught completely off guard, fought back with every ounce of strength she could muster, determined to survive. Her cries for help went unanswered, echoing through the empty hallways, a chilling reminder of her isolation.
The attacker, filled with a chilling sense of purpose, dragged me across the floor. My body slammed against the furniture, pain searing through me. The metal hanger, twisted into a weapon, left welts and bruises on my arms as I desperately tried to defend myself. Minutes stretched into an eternity as the attack continued. Fear, raw and consuming, pulsed through my veins. Was this the end? Would anyone hear my screams? Just when I thought I couldn't take any more, the attacker fled. Battered and bruised, I lay on the floor, struggling to comprehend the nightmare that had just become my reality. The silence in the aftermath of the attack was deafening, broken only by my own ragged breathing.
As the initial shock subsided, the horrifying reality of the situation sunk in. The gravity of what had happened began to weigh heavily on her mind, and she felt an overwhelming sense of despair. She was alone, injured, and deeply traumatized. The physical pain was intense, but it was the emotional turmoil that truly consumed her. She felt isolated, as if no one could understand the depth of her suffering. Summoning the last reserves of her strength, she reached for her phone. Her hands trembled as she dialed, each number a monumental effort. She knew she had to get help, no matter how difficult it was. Help at last was on its way. The sound of sirens in the distance brought a glimmer of hope. Paramedics arrived swiftly, their presence a small comfort in the midst of chaos. Air India, upon learning of this horrifying incident, immediately launched an internal investigation. They were horrified and deeply concerned for the well-being of their employee. This was an attack on one of their own. The airline community felt a collective sense of outrage and sorrow. Meetings were held to address the incident and to ensure such a tragedy would never happen again. The airline pledged full cooperation with the local authorities and vowed to leave no stone unturned in their quest for justice. They worked closely with the police, providing all necessary information and support. The victim was immediately taken to a local hospital for treatment. Medical staff worked tirelessly to address her injuries and stabilize her condition. Physical wounds would heal, but the emotional scars of this brutal attack would likely linger. She would need time, support, and professional help to navigate the trauma she had endured. Air India promised to provide her with the best possible medical care and counseling. They assured her that she would not face this journey alone and that they would stand by her every step of the way.
News of the attack spread like wildfire, sending shockwaves through the aviation community and beyond. How could such a horrific incident occur in a supposedly secure hotel environment? Questions arose, demanding answers. This was not the first time concerns had been raised about the Radisson Red Hotel's security measures. Whispers of previous incidents, of dark corridors and an unmanned reception desk began to surface. Had the hotel ignored warning signs? Air India, outraged by this blatant disregard for the safety of their crew, demanded answers. They had entrusted the well-being of their employees to this hotel, and that trust had been shattered.
Section 5 demands for justice. The local police launched a full-scale investigation determined to bring the perpetrator to justice. Every piece of evidence was meticulously analyzed, every lead pursued. The hotel, now under intense scrutiny, pledged their full cooperation. But for many, this was too little, too late. The damage had been done. The sense of security, once taken for granted, had been irrevocably shattered. Air India crew members, already under immense pressure in their demanding roles, were now living with a new and terrifying reality. The attack on one crew member was an attack on all. It was a stark reminder of the vulnerability of those who dedicate their lives to ensuring our safety and comfort in the skies.
Section 6, the price of silence. The incident sparked a long overdue conversation about the safety of airline crews, particularly in hotels where they're often most vulnerable. For too long, these incidents had been swept under the rug, shrouded in silence. Why? Was it fear of repercussions, or a reluctance to acknowledge the very real dangers faced by those in the service industry? Whatever the reason, the silence was deafening and it had to stop. The attack on the Air India crew member was a wake-up call. It forced the world to confront the human cost of neglecting safety protocols and ignoring warning signs. It was time for accountability. Section 7, breaking the cycle. The aviation industry, shaken to its core, vowed to do better. Airlines, hotels, and security experts came together, determined to find solutions. Enhanced security measures, improved lighting, and increased staff training were just some of the proposals put forward. But true change required more than just words. It demanded action. It demanded a fundamental shift in mindset, a recognition that the safety of airline crews was not negotiable. It was paramount. The attack on the Air India crew member had exposed a systemic failure, a failure to prioritize the well-being of those who kept the world connected. It was time to right this wrong. Section 8. A call for global action. The incident in London resonated far beyond the confines of that hotel room. It sent shockwaves through the city, reverberating across the globe, making headlines in every major news outlet. It was a stark reminder that the threat of violence can touch anyone, anywhere, at any time. The sense of security that many took for granted was shattered, leaving communities on edge and individuals more vigilant. It highlighted the need for increased vigilance and a collective responsibility to protect one another. Communities rallied together, demanding better security measures and more proactive approaches to prevent such incidents. This was not just an Air India problem, it was a global issue. The aviation industry, already under scrutiny, faced renewed pressure to enhance safety protocols and ensure the well-being of their passengers and crew. Airlines around the world needed to take note, to learn from this tragedy, and to take proactive steps to ensure the safety and security of their crews. This meant revisiting and reinforcing existing security measures, and perhaps implementing new ones. The attack on the Air India crew member was a call to action, a call for unity and solidarity in the face of fear. It was a poignant reminder that in times of crisis, the world must come together, transcending borders and differences. It was a call that could not be ignored. Global leaders, activists, and ordinary citizens alike recognized the urgency of the situation, advocating for stronger international cooperation and a unified response to such threats. Section 9, towards a safer tomorrow. The journey towards a safer and more secure environment for airline crews would be long and arduous. It would require collaboration, commitment, and a willingness to challenge the status quo. But it was a journey that had to be taken. The memory of the attack on the Air India crew member served as a constant reminder of the human cost of complacency. It fueled the determination to create a world where such horrific incidents were not just condemned, but prevented. The road ahead might be challenging, but the goal was clear. A future where every airline crew member could rest assured that their safety was paramount, both in the air and on the ground.
Section 10. The Long Road to Recovery. For the Air India crew member, the road to recovery would be long and difficult. The physical scars might fade with time, but the emotional trauma would likely linger. But she was not alone. Air India, her colleagues, and people around the world stood with her, offering support and encouragement. The outpouring of sympathy and solidarity was a testament to the indomitable human spirit, a spirit that refused to be broken by violence and fear. The attack had taken so much from her, but it had also revealed the extraordinary resilience of the human spirit. It had shown that even in the darkest of times, hope and the promise of healing